Oh, we got a lot of things to take a look at today. A lot. How you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at more things from BFA, primarily the professions. When's the last time you really cared about professions? Be honest. Be honest. I mean, chances are you're doing professions right now, but remember when you actually could use professions in PvP? Remember when you could use professions in PvE? Any aspect of the game you could use professions, and they brought something cool. And I haven't really seen anything like that since, I think, MOP is when all rogues got tailoring, all rogues got engineering, we had our gloves enchanted, we had our cloaks enchanted, like we were all decked out and everything. What happened, man? I really want for that to come back. So Legion is BFA is making a few changes to engineering. We are going to see some big changes, but before we get to that, let's get to some of the other things to talk about. Before we get to the meat of the topic, let's talk about the frog mount. Yes, Blizzard is putting out a frog as a mount, and some people might think this is silly. It's just a frog, but then again, we never really had a big old frog. The idea with this frog is has to be like a druidic god. It's called a Loa, basically like druid version of gods or spirits, or I'm not a lore guy, so that's as close as I can really get. But basically, with the Zandalari, the Loa of this reptile, the frog, is going to eventually become something that we can use as a mount. And they actually have released footage on Wowhead on what this thing looks like and kind of how it moves around. And you can kind of see how silly this thing looks. I mean, it's just a big old frog, right? And then you're thinking, wow, it's just a big fat frog. So who is gonna care about a big old frog with a big old belly and a bunch of sacks on the side, bunch of little flies on the side? Like, what is this mount is all about? But then if you take a look at this mount moving, I mean, the walk animation is nothing interesting, but the hop animation is actually hilarious. It just hops, lands on its belly, and goes again. That's all that it does. It just basically uses its abdomen as like a beanbag, and it just leaves it there from time to time. This is the most silliest looking mount I think so far in BFA. I just like the playability, just the creativity and the playfulness of the mount. I really do think the jump animation they could maybe work on a little bit better, because it just seems to be the same thing as a walk animation, just it lasts a little longer. But this mount is pretty cool, and I actually very much like the idle animation. This very subtle idle animation is what you get, and then you get a nabs a fly out of the air around it, out of the sky. I think that's actually awesome, and I like some of the creative ideas that we have in BFA. I kind of like this playfulness nature that Blizzard is putting into BFA. Whether it be from just mounts, whether it be from some of the items, whether it be from some of the ways they are kind of approaching some of the aspects of the game. I like the playfulness because it feels like there's a little bit of life. It feels like there's a little bit of attention put into it, you know? Not just somebody went and designed a really good-looking, graphically fidelity, you know, new custom animations for things, but they added a little bit of playfulness. It's like Blizzard is really putting in a lot more into it. Now to engineering. Why would you ever want to take a look at engineering? So first of all, we have a lot of things happening for profession update for build 26175. That's the one. Okay, I've got it right. Took me a second. There's a lot of changes being added for it, and they're doing something very interesting with professions. First of all, we get to take a look at the honorable combatant PvP gear and what that looks like from the tailoring and the other crafting professions. We also get to see a little bit of enchanting, and that's not the important part, but I do want to talk about it, because some of the enchants are deadly navigation. Permanently enchants a weapon to sometimes increase critical strike by 50 for 30 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Upon reaching 5 stacks, all stacks are consumed and grants you 400% critical strike for 12 seconds. That is interesting. It's like a build up, and once it builds up, it gives you a flat amount. So it could be like extensive, or it could just stack up super quickly. And it's a very interesting approach to some of the enchants. And here's one for haste. Here's one for mastery, versatile, stalwart, which is the armor. I think those kind of things, again, playfulness nature of it is pretty cool. But the big one is for engineering. Engineering belts, and that's something we all love and remember. Rocket boots, right? I mean, pretty sure it's a belt, but we had the boots where it basically would zoom you around for a short moment, or it just explode you up in the air and make you take damage, one or the other. Then we also had the parachute that had the cloak with a parachute, or the goblin glider to it. Those kind of enchants have been used for so long, and I saw it's going from Pandari into Warlords into Legion a lot less use of them, especially in PvP. Yeah, you can technically still use a lot of them in BGs, but they're just not as creative. That you just can't really quite use them left and right. You can't use them in arena. You can't use them in like rated stuff, battlegrounds. Not as many people really use professions heavily in PvE, unless you maybe like somebody who is an alchemist, so you can stack your potions pretty high. But there's no extra spin because you're certain professions, you know what I mean? I think, honestly, if you should be a blacksmith, you should be able to repair your own gear whenever you want to, or repair your friend's gear, or put an anvil where you can kind of be a repair gear guy. They had a lot of fun stuff like that for Mr. Pandari. They even had for cooking. If you if you were able to get yourself leveled up to a certain point of cooking, you could open up a noodle shop, and your friends could go and get noodles from you. Instead of like just putting down a feast and everybody eats from it, now you're serving everybody noodles or something. It was so cool. So what they're doing in BFA for engineering, they're adding 3 new belt enchants, and so far this is all we have. So far there'll probably add more. Belt enchant holographic horror projector. Permanently attaches a specialized device to your belt, allowing you to fear an enemy within melee range for 5 seconds. You get a fear. Imagine being a rogue out in the world, right? You have your stuns, you have your gouges, blinds, but look at that. A death knight comes at you and you got no CC. Or maybe you do have some kind of a crazy lineup going, you just need him to get a trinket out. You throw a fear at him. They're confused, they have no idea where does fear come from. I'm gonna trinket it. What the hell is this? They pop the trinket, bam, stun lock him, burst him down, kill him. To go back to the graveyard, not sure what the hell happened. Did a rogue just fear me? Hello? Did I accidentally hit a warrior? Because I'm pretty sure that was a rogue. That was a rogue. What just happened? That is so awesome. I love that, and there's more. Miniaturized plasma shield. Permanently attaches a belt with a device which is used to project a shield in front of the player, deflecting all incoming attacks. Does that mean reflect? Can we reflect like polymer? That'd be insane. Imagine being like in a Eye of the Storm, and you go towards the middle, and there's like a bunch of casters just tossing out casts in the middle, you know, trying to AoE, maybe throwing in some chunky cast bolts, polymorphs, whatever, and just drop a miniaturized plasma shield, and everything's getting reflected because it's hitting the shield and just bouncing back. That'd be insane. It's just such an interesting, again, it goes back to, it feels like developers are really showing some love into the game, really breathing some fresh new life into it. And there's also another one, personal space amplifier. Permanently attaches a specialized device, allowing you to remove all movement apparent effects every minute, shares the cooldown with potions. So you can remove all slows, I think, or any CC at all. It might be like the old school human trinket, or it might just work like a gnome racial. Pretty sure it's going to be like a lot like a gnome racial, but that is awesome. We haven't seen stuff like this in so long, and this would be a game changer if you can use this in BGs. I doubt you'll be able to use this in rated because Blizzard is, or even in battlegrounds, because, well, maybe you might be able to use this in battlegrounds because Blizzard has been kind of trying to take away all the different things that might change the outcome of a PvP situation. So it's supposed to be less about gear, more about player skill. But in a way, we can all agree, it makes the game kind of dull. I mean, we kind of all want to just go into a BG where we can get some rockets and some big old bursts and just have some fun. But when it comes to like the actual rated components of it, where, you know, there's some specific rules where these items can be used, I think that would be understandable if you can do stuff like that there. You know, there needs to be some creativity for PvP. You should be able to use some OP items to abuse it. And if you really want to do some actual balanced gameplay, I think rated is where it's at. And that's why people should be looking for rated, because there's actual controlled balance, or sort of balance, if you want to loosely call it that. But I think it'd be so cool if they could use that in BGs. I'm really hoping. And then, of course, they added new hooks and nets for tailors. One is a root, the other is 75% slow, so that'd be awesome. I mean, you can actually see what the gear will look like and the sound, the name of it. Honorable Combatants Satan belt. Come on, Blizzard, why you bringing the good old Lord Satan or good old Lucifer into this? So lots of our pieces of gear, instead of being called grievous or tyrannical or primal or vindictive or I don't even know, jiggly. Like at this point, it'll just be called Satan stuff. And finally, I got one more mount to take a look at, and that is the B mount. I mean, it's really detailed, and that's why I feel like it's a little unnerving. It's a cool mount, and again, it's one of those things where it's awesome that Blizzard is coming up with these ideas of like different mounts and different looks for them and whatnot. But look at this thing. I mean, it's just so, it's so detailed. Why are bees normally this hairy? Like, what is going on here? Why is it jittering like that? That freaks me out a little. Definitely there's some kind of creativity and some kind of inspiration Blizzard is getting from, and it's just everywhere. It seems like just about anything to make for BFA. looks either really interesting or really cool. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of bees. I don't like insects in the first place. Spiders freak me the hell out. And this thing, I mean, it's a hairy bee and it's huge. It moves around like an insect, so that freaks me out a little, but I mean, it's really cool. The detail, the design for it, I mean, I think it's really well done. Even the wings, I like the way they look. The overall, really cool idea, really cool mount, and cannot wait for BFA for it to come out. I know I don't sound super excited because I'm still sick, but trust me, the excitement is definitely there. I just don't have the voice because I ended up spending all day screaming into a microphone because we were doing some duels, and goddamn, there were some fucking plays there. Holy shit. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know what your thoughts on the bee mount, the frog mount, as well as the engineering. I really hope Blizzard puts in professions and importance of them back into BFA. I don't know to a certain extent how far they will do it. If we could just see professions in PvE, or maybe if we could see like the belt in PvP, I think it would be amazing. It just sounds like so much fun. Yeah, it sounds so broken and busted, but it'll be so much fun. You know what I mean? Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. As always, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. Likes allow my videos to reach a wider audience, so that helps my channel regardless. But it also let me know that you guys like this kind of stuff, like this kind of updates. If you guys want to see more BFA updates, patch updates, discussions, or 5v5 duels, go ahead and hit subscribe down below in order to receive 2 videos a day in your feed, and hit the notification bell because sometimes YouTube doesn't update you whenever I go live or whenever I have my videos up. So if you hit the notification bell down below, you'll be updated on every single video that goes live and every single stream that goes live as well. So you can participate in some of the streams where we run Seething Shore, where we do our duels, or whatever we end up doing for the day. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see all of you in another video. I'm gonna look more at the profession stuff, man.